we are pleased today to be joined by the Qatari Foreign Minister, Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani. Your Excellency, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for hosting me, Brett.
You know, this is such an important time with the efforts to get people out of Afghanistan, especially Americans. A lot of concern in our country about that. Not only that, but the Afghan allies who helped us through the war. Don't think America knows the extent to which Qatar has been helping. They see the flights that leave, but it's been pretty extensive, your role in that.
Well, actually, Brett, what happened since the fall of Kabul, I think it's the largest evacuation operation in history. And around 120,000 been evacuated during the period where the US troops were there in Afghanistan. 60,000 of them, they went through Doha. And there were like two main operations. One is the US-led operation, and there is another smaller operation which was totally led by Qatar. We've been helping and supporting the refugees who've been transiting in Qatar by offering them the medical supplies needed, medical care needed, even for people who needed vaccination. They've been vaccinated over there.
It went to the extent as your ambassador was driving Americans past Taliban checkpoints to get them to the airport. Do you think this is going to continue, and how many evacuees do you have at Al Udeid in Doha?
Some foreign nationals who are not deciding yet to leave, and we are still, there is a lack of clarity when they are going to take their decision. What we've been trying right now is to find a way, an arrangement with Taliban, getting those charter flights out with the foreign nationals, and then it will, what we got is a commitment from them that the Afghans with documents, they will be able to leave. We didn't test that yet. We are not sure if this is going to be implemented or not, but we are hoping that they will stand up to their commitments.
But do you trust the Taliban, this Taliban?
Well, actually, look, for us, we've been an impartial mediator for the past few years, and it has been a challenging process. It's not that easy. We want to remain neutral because we need to make sure that we have this channel open to help those people who are at risk.
Are you convinced that this group now that has taken control is somehow a more moderate version of what we saw in the past? I mean, that's how they were portraying themselves, but they have a pretty sketchy past.
I think the actions on the ground should prove that. Today they just announced some new appointments in the cabinet, which is accommodating some other ethnicities and non-Taliban people and professional, which we believe this is a small positive step. We hope that they will continue taking positive steps. There are very important issues that they need to demonstrate for the world, that they've been moderated and they have changed. Otherwise, we believe that the stability in Afghanistan won't be sustainable at all, and we might be in a very worrying situation soon.
So what's your biggest fear? A full-out civil war there?
Well, actually, this is what can be the ultimate risk. But meanwhile, Afghanistan, first of all, they are a country which are highly dependent on foreign aid. And they have, the economy over there is not that big or not that active. And if we are, as an international community, are not going to step up and help the Afghan people and making sure that the humanitarian corridors are open and we support them, otherwise we might starting to see some social unrest over there, which will lead ultimately to civil war, God forbid.
Yeah, and here, from a U.S. perspective, is the concern that Afghanistan becomes a pad, a jumping point again for Al-Qaeda or ISIS. You call them Daesh. Are you worried about that growing Islamic radicalism?
We don't want to see the gains of 20 years being reversed. And I think that's very important if Taliban are serious about stabilizing the country and being a moderate partner over there, to show us and to demonstrate for the world that they won't allow terrorists to nurture in Afghanistan. But also we need to take in consideration that once we start to see a chaos inside Afghanistan, then will be the perfect attraction for those terrorist groups to nurture over there.
Were you surprised that Kabul fell as fast as it did?
Well, actually, we We were not surprised that it was like it happened in a day, because what happened in the last 2 months, when we see that the cities were surrendering like so quickly without even any confrontation between Taliban and the Afghan forces, we start to notice and realizing that the Afghan forces were not even willing to fight and to protect their cities.
Why do you think the U.S. lost in Afghanistan?
Well, actually, it's not a matter of winning or losing, Brett. I think the main question needed to be asked is about the approach itself. Looking at the region from outside, it should be a very careful approach, and we need to see the regimes that can nurture from within the countries. But imposing regimes from outside, it's always not sustainable.
I mean, is that the thing that the U.S. doesn't get about the Middle East, or hasn't? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think that what we have seen with the recent steps that the U.S. is taking, it's mainly about taking a step back, which is, I'm sure for the U.S. politician, they have their own reasons and they have their own arguments for that. But I think it's more important really to look at how can we help and collaborate together in order to have a stable system that the people support and the people endorse.
Your region has gone through a lot of turmoil. Obviously, your relationship with your other Arab countries has gone through a rocky period, but now, where is it with Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain?
Since the Al-Ula agreement, we have seen there is a willingness from all GCC partners in order to restore the cooperation together. It is actually a positive environment. We have seen a willingness from all the parties that we want to sit together, a common objective, a common goals, and build on our common interest.
One of the challenges, obviously dealing with the U.S., is our system changes. And you have a new administration that has a new look on everything, potentially every 4 years. How has this relationship with you, the Biden administration versus you and the Trump administration, changed? And the president obviously was at the UN today.
We've ended 20 years of conflict in Afghanistan.
The message he delivered, what did you take from it?
Whether it's with President Biden or even with President Trump, all of us, we realize that this partnership between Qatar and the United States is very important. It is for us the most important partnership and strategic relationship that we have in any other country in the world. The U.S. has been our strategic ally. We've been standing together in the difficult time, in the good time. We've been always together.
I want to end with this tough question. Are you ready to host the World Cup in 2022?
Well, definitely we are ready to host the best World Cup ever being hosted, and we are looking forward to host you over there.
We will be there. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, Brett, for hosting me.
Stay with us here on Special Report. After the break, we'll look into the John Durham report and what we're learning and the reaction to it. Keep it here.